Howdy folks, and welcome to Utah and another adventure. My brother, who's been on the channel before, is going to fly out here and join me for what we hope to be an epic adventure. The last time he was on the channel, we were back east. He's never been out here with me, so the goal is to absolutely blow his mind. But his plane's about to land here in just a little bit, so I've got to get out of this camping spot and go pick him up. Now, if you've been following us recently, you know we've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of crazy stuff, big life changes. Base camp has moved from Utah to Tennessee, so you might be wondering, well, what am I doing in Utah right now? Well, I had to come back to get the rigs. So, while we're out here, we're going to have some fun, and then my brother's going to help me drive the fleet back east. In the meantime, I've been here closing out our house sale, uprooting our Utah roots, and past few days have been right here getting some editing done. So hope you enjoy this adventure. Thank y'all so much for riding along. Now let's get going. I'm gonna miss this being my backyard, but it'll make it all that much more special when we do come back, and we will be back.
In 1,000 feet, turn right.
After picking up enough groceries for the upcoming week of explorations, we headed back into the mountains to escape the summer heat. We had a lot of ground to cover in a short amount of time, but tonight was all about a decent camp at around 7,000 feet to help my brother acclimate to the altitude. Thankfully, I had a few options in mind since this was my backyard for the past several years.
What do you think of this spot?
We're not in East Tennessee anymore.
This is one I've had in my back pocket for a little while. I haven't actually camped here yet, but it's pretty nice. Except for the campers down the valley there, getting a little loud. But don't you hate when you go out in public and public has the audacity to be there?
I wouldn't exactly call this public.
The next morning, we awoke to beautiful 360-degree views while Caleb recounted his rough first night of sleep.
And then, like, somewhere down there, I could hear coyotes. I was like, oh, man.
I had a long night myself getting the latest episode edited before we started covering some miles. The first night on the trail is usually the toughest for sleep, but eventually, you learn to enjoy the sounds of nature, or you reach a point of exhaustion, which also works for a good night's rest. Over the years, we've learned a few things about making coffee in the wild. Here's our latest hack on the process in low humidity environments where the fresh grounds usually turn into static-filled dust.
So, go about halfway, like that, and then this is just a little spritzer, like a bar spritzer.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Huh. Just keeps it from sticking, or
just enough moisture to knock the static off. Wow, I couldn't have done that if I tried.
That's hilarious.
I know my way around some beans. Alright, so here it is with the spritzer in it.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah, that is the ticket.
And there's been a university study to prove that spritzing your beans enhances the flavor.
Really?
I'll have to find
An
the link.
actual study?
An actual university study.
Who's
Yeah.
studying this stuff?
And here's the best part about this. The best part about this is Keith Kessler, who has taught me all kinds of crazy things about coffee. He's the one that got this for us for Christmas. Amazing coffee. He didn't know about this. I got to teach him something about coffee. I was like so thrilled. All right, I brought something to this relationship.
One up on him now.
And we've got these back in stock, finally.
Yep.
Well, we had a ton of ground to cover. Some mornings were just made for soaking up. So we took our time making some steaming hot coffee and a high-protein, fast and easy breakfast. Life has indeed been crazy for our family behind the scenes, on top of the stressful process of moving across the country to Tennessee. So being back here in one of my favorite places on earth was quickly helping the past fade in the rear view as we basked in the high country sunshine. My brother Caleb was already blown away by his first taste of Utah's immense landscape, but little did he know that we were only getting started, and this trip was about to get jaw-dropping. With the trail beckoning to us, we wrapped up our slow start, aired down for comfort, and headed towards a mysterious place in the forest that had left me scratching my own head ever since I stumbled upon it a few years ago.
Show you something cool.
Here. That's like at least 10 degrees or more.
It's a little cooler, huh?
Like immediately I'm getting chills.
So, let me know when you see something interesting. Keep walking. Cold plunge?
I don't know about that. Woo. The fact that the water goes into a hole, disappears.
Just gone.
What?
Just gone. And I've seen this completely full before, you know, like so much water and it's just shooting down. Now these are mines, but I have no idea what they were mining. It's not on any documents I could find.
This geologic phenomenon is called a sink, and it forms over many years of water flowing through the cracks and crevices of limestone until it creates a large channel as the slightly acidic rainwater erodes the passageways. Here, hundreds of gallons a minute simply disappears into the earth to eventually emerge miles away in the valley floor.
Oh, you can squeeze in. Somebody's cut the bar out. Oh yeah, it just goes in and out.
Yeah.
Well, why would you bar that? Unless there was a shaft that went down that's filled.
Oh yeah.
Remember, we have mountain lions. Remember, we have mountain lions. There's a shelf road right up here we can get on and go back.
After taking the long way back to the truck, we arrived out of breath from the high elevation, only to find our very first problem of the trip.
This whole video is just gonna be me going.
I made a boo-boo.
What did you do?
So I was pulling my battery case out to make sure my fans were hooked up, because if you don't pull this fuse out and you're not using it, it can run the battery down.
Right.
So I was backing it out, and then you noticed, hey, what's these wires for? And I jerked the fridge plug wires out of the holder.
Where are those wires?
So, you know, just a little bit of
Yeah. When you
trail
see bare
repair.
wire
Yeah.
laying around, it's usually not a good sign.
Well, especially, you know, for electricians like us.
That's the first thing you notice. Bare wire? That shouldn't be there.
That's usually a problem. So it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. I almost don't want to test pull it, because if it comes off,
You're done.
I am going to save the crimped ones just in case I got to like get a little wire,
Like,
just like,
yeah,
come
like
on,
stick a
baby.
screwdriver or
'Cause
like
this powers the freezer with all of our delicious
Yeah.
meat. So
that would not be a good thing to end the trip on.
all right, disaster averted in our high stakes mishap. No pun intended. What you get for your home? All right.
Well, I think we just have to remember to disconnect that wire before you pull this thing back out again.
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Somebody had to say it.
Well, there's your problem.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Well, I'm getting frothy now.
With our little crisis averted, Caleb got a taste of turning around a large rig combo in the woods before we headed back to the main trail to climb even higher into the mountains as the temperatures began to warm up.
Find anything and be like, oh.
Not far up the shelf road, we ran into another problem. Almost literally, as a truck with a horse trailer met us on a tight section. With our setup pushed to the absolute edge of the road, we all held our breath as the trailers almost touched when he drove past.
That was tight.
How close was it?
Yeah, like an inch.
Yeah, easy. Whew. That was about as tight as it gets right there.
That was sketch.
I was surprised he kept coming. I mean, if he'd backed up to here, it would have been better.
Yeah, because you have the whole ditch line
Yeah.
right here.
Whew. Glad those aspens were there. It made me feel a little better.
I don't think they would have done a whole lot for us if we would have gone, but at least it gave you a safe feeling at least.
It's a coming.
Yeah.
I've seen moose up in this area several times, so we'll see.
is good to show stuff like that. And now,
Just a few miles later, we were topping out at over 10,000 feet in elevation as the temps plummeted with the sporadic thunderstorms that are just part of the unpredictable highland weather.
how hard it would be to hike to the top of that.
Looks easy from here, doesn't it?
After a short walk to an alpine lake, we hit the trail to cover some ground, since we still had a long way to go in our ambitious overland loop that would keep us on dirt just as much as possible. Oh, and if you're concerned about that strange whine coming from the Tundra's engine, no worries. It's just a Magnuson supercharger making these hard climbs at high altitude a breeze. I'm so in love with this modification.
I met a man who was out on his own. He chose to wander this world all alone. He said, heaven can't help me, I'm so far away from where they found me on that day. On and on he goes into the night, singing. Wage a war with demons in his mind, and he goes on. He lost his lover when his house burned down. Now he never loved another till they put him in the ground. They may have taken everything he owned, but they could never take away the love he's known. On and on he goes into the night, singing. Wage a war with demons in his mind, and he goes on.
We hadn't covered much ground today, but our distractions and side trips have been worth it to see the look on my brother's face and somewhat relive the same excitement I had when I first came to this incredible state. With our tummies rumbling and the sun beginning to set, we found a nice sheltered spot in an aspen grove and began the sometimes overly complicated process of leveling the trail.
God, look at you.
I'm a fast learner.
You're a good apprentice. A good Padawan. Best laid plans don't always work out. We're going to have to back this up a little bit more to avoid this pile.
Dropped a bomb right where we need to be walking.
Man, come on, guys. What the heck?
Oh,
Hey.
too far. Go forward. Oh. First try.
Yes. So in one of the previous videos, you could hear the pump kick on in the cabin. It was crazy loud. So while I was in getting some service, I had them take a look at that, and they got it silenced up. So
That's good.
so much quieter. I mean, you can't even hear that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it doesn't even sound like it's on.
Yeah. I'm gonna soften this guy up a little bit here. And I have talked about doing one of the big guards and stuff that goes on the back of the truck. It's just, I just never got around to it, so for now.
And now you're paying for it.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often, but
Yeah, we have had quite a few rainstorms the last couple of days.
yeah.
Hit a couple of big mud holes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least you got a decent amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Better than it was.
All right, let's get some steak and mushrooms going. Quick, easy, delicious, nutritious, and fast. That's the main thing.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Good protein. Pretty much clean. Yeah, I mean, it was just sandwiches and Cheetos.
That's all it was. Still good. Scared me. I thought, come on, like. Oh, really?
Yeah. Kids definitely. How often do you use the Zoom on this one?
Yeah, so here in Utah, there's a pando, I think is the right word for it. And it's one of the largest living organisms in the world. And it's a grove of aspen trees that all share the same DNA. And I think
really?
I don't remember. I'd have to look it up to get the numbers right, but it's something crazy like 19 acres worth of them or something.
Oh,
it's 9,000 trees or something.
Where is
like
it?
That. Kind of central Utah.
Okay. They are gorgeous trees. Just that striking white. It reminds me of the sycamore trees back east.
Right. New product alert. Can koozies. Overland Pro. I thought I just blew it all over the dang lens. Good first day.
Can't complain.
It's alright.
The next morning, we were up bright and early to finish this trail and pop into civilization for some fuel. Even on pavement, the views continued to amaze, and we even spotted a bighorn sheep on our way into town. With our fuel tank topped off, we quickly headed back to the wilderness, this time along a side road I'd never seen myself. And it wasn't long before we were both gawking at the rock formations.
Dude, there's like a vulture flying up there. It's not even at the top. Dude, I have goosebumps. I literally have goosebumps right now.
Otherworldly, right? I told him I was going to blow his mind. This is my favorite part now, is bringing people out here to see stuff like this. Just incredible. What? What? So wild. Just getting started.
Literally goosebumps. I don't know if I've ever seen anything that just magnificent.
Right?
Just the form. I mean, they all like just. It doesn't look real.
No, it doesn't.
That's something you see just like on computer desktop wallpapers.
AI generated.
AI generated. I just can't.
As I drove past a pull-off, someone in a Lexus GX550 flagged me down, so we whipped in to see what was up.
How's it going?
Crazy enough, this was a chance encounter with two of our supporters from Patreon. It's moments like this, especially when life gets tough, that help feed our enthusiasm for telling these stories. After chatting for a bit, we got a little walk around of their beautiful GX build, which had me just a bit jealous, since this platform has nothing but impressed me during my test drives. After a little bit of drooling over their Lexus, we said our goodbyes and headed for dirt.
That's what it's all about right there.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's cool to run into people that watch the channel and stuff, but to run into the patrons, the core supporters of what we do is super special.
Yeah,
so
it's really great.
Doug and Laura, is awesome to see you guys, and hope you enjoy your time up here in Utah.
Today, we were in for a treat since this historical fire tower was open to visitors, thanks to some volunteers who open it up on certain days of the week for the public to enjoy. Originally built in 1935, this was the first fire tower in Utah that featured above-ground living quarters. This 14 by 14 foot room was home to fire spotters who spent countless hours keeping vigilant watch over the national forest. While its official use was replaced by aircraft and other means of fire reporting, fire management personnel still use it from time to time, and today was one of those days, as the chief of fire operations in the area was here, putting glass on the hillsides where recent lightning strikes had left a few trees smoldering. It was extremely interesting to get his perspective on fire and forest management, since I've always been intrigued by the logic that goes into fighting some fires while letting others burn. This was just a snippet of our great conversation.
What's the logic behind how you approach fighting one? You know, a lot of times there's not much of a response until it becomes an issue.
Man. Yeah, and I couldn't tell you or speak for a lot of other areas, like the West Coast, for example. There's so much dead and down fuel, or so much fuel overload or overburden, where once it does start to burn, it's so dangerous to fight because there's so much fuel. Areas, and the statistics show, areas that do a lot more fuel thinning, whether it's through use of logging or prescribed burns, stuff like that, you have a lot more fire breaks that help prevent fires from getting big.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the forest management varies quite a bit from forest to forest. You could say that Smokey Bear did a lot of damage there for several decades because the rule of thumb used to be put everything out immediately.
Okay.
And my background is, like with the fire use module, if there's a fire, before we go guns blazing putting it out, we look at, is there things that could burn that it would help the forest be healthier. So like here, for example, especially if you go up a little bit higher in elevation, there's so much dead, kind of stagnant forest, you could say. So just like a garden,
See it spread.
it's overgrown with weeds, it's not going to flourish.
Right.
The forests need the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of notice out through here, there was a more recent fire going back to the 80s, and you have a lot more
They're
diversity
dropping.
of trees. Yeah, you go up higher, and it's a lot of the same species, not a lot of new growth because there's so much dead and older stands that are more disease susceptible. So fire's very healthy for the forest, but it has to be utilized right. And if you put everything out all the time, or don't allow any fuel thinning, you get massive fires that are uncontrollable.
Yep.
You can't fight it.
That's so cool. I was here a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and it was closed. And it's actually open, and had a great chat with everybody. It's not used for official fire spotting, but they've actually got someone up here who is still passionate about having visibility and hands-on approach for watching for fires and stuff. So it's pretty cool to chat with him as well, and just the whole idea behind forest fires and all the things that surround the logic when it comes to when they fight it and when they decide to let it burn just for the health of the forest. You know, I think more often than not, we don't talk about fire being a healthy process of nature that's, you know, happened for as long as the earth has been around. But it's an important piece of the ecological puzzle. So very enlightening, very interesting. I always love talking to folks like that, so thank you so much for all that information. All right, let's go and see what else we can get into.
Not a mile down the road, we had another rare wildlife sighting. Say hello to the American badger. These squat, powerful diggers spend most of their time underground in their dens that can be up to 30 feet deep. These carnivores subsist by digging for prairie dogs, ground squirrels, and gophers as their primary meal source, usually moving above ground at night, which can make an encounter like this a real treat. Oh, and I forgot to mention that they can be vicious if cornered, but I'm sure my brother will figure that part out if it does turn on him while he's filming for me. Hey, anything for the shot, right? After putting in quite a few miles, we were treated to a water crossing, which, as you may know, is the highlight of any overlander's journey. But I was in for a little reminder that no overland build is ever truly done. You see, while all my other Toyotas have A-Track as a standard feature, which is a truly impressive traction control system, this Tundra doesn't have any real help in that department. Thankfully, momentum is plentiful with the Magnuson supercharger on board, so after backing up and giving it one more try, it was enough to send it up over the embankment. But lockers continue to move up my wish list as we have more and more of these little challenges. As it turns out, there weren't any good camps on that side of the river, so I guess I had to cross it again. Bet you can't feel my disappointment right now. Just as we cleared the thicker trees and came upon some wetlands, I spotted yet another rare furry creature for my brother to add to his Utah bingo card, a female moose, staring at us from the marsh. I'm going to have to bring my brother on more of these trips since he seems to have a lucky streak on finding wild animals. With yet another exciting day on the trail behind us, we found a hidden camp on the edge of the river, set up for some juicy Wagyu burgers and a peaceful evening next to this happy little stream.
Well, I got burgers and I forgot a couple of ingredients. One of those being sliced cheese, so I'm improvising. Cheese sticks are close enough, right? That'll work.
I eat them at home by themselves, so mix them with a burger. And I'll...
Even better. We got some onion. I think
more cheese, more better.
This is a guy's trip. I miss Sarah for this. And I forgot to pull stuff out of the freezer to thaw, so now I got to go get that for tomorrow while I'm thinking about it. Go ahead and make you one up, man.
All right.
To the bone, just trying to make something out of nothing, you know. You never wanted silver, gold, or the finer things. Just a wife and kids, a home, and the American dream. Whoa, I ain't gonna step in line. From the edge of my seat, a big windshield or a plane, not a TV screen. Don't you need the road to tell you who you really are? Find out whether or not a man could ever change his stars. Whoa, I ain't gonna step in line. Whoa, baby, this is our time to rewrite our American dream.
The only thing we were missing on this trip is a couple of fly rods, but we're adding to the long list of reasons to return. After only 2 days of exploring, my brother was in a constant state of amazement, but the best was still yet to come. So, join us on the next Overland episode to see what happens next. Until next time, remember to stay curious and leave it better than you found it.